one. Oh, yes! The intro music. We're going to change it up. It's,
Getting technical on the podcast.
Yeah, we're getting technical with the music. I feel like we just watched the intro to UFC pay-per-view or something. That should be their new song instead of that other song. Yeah.
Very nice.
But this is the DeepWaterMMA.com podcast.
It is.
Coming to you from Fort Pierce, Florida. I can see the beach out the window.
Live from North Beach.
Live from North Beach. So, we're your hosts. I'm Dan Kennard. I'm here with Cale, the connoisseur Loveridge, taking a break from his park ranger duties. And we're going to talk first UFC 161. I've been waiting to say this for a long time. I hope you parlayed that shit because we went 5-0, including TJ Grant's underdog pick. So, not sure what that would have paid out, but I'm pretty sure it would have been pretty solid.
That was a good
for your dollar.
Yeah, that was a good pick. That was what I want to say, a cost-worthy pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was worth.
Yeah, it was worth the investment, and you should have got a great return on that.
I feel like that's something I could talk about for a minute. Right? Is like your approach to a fight card. This just kind of occurred to me from like a betting perspective. Right? I like to bet single guys. I like to bet one winner at a time. I used to do a lot of parlays, and that never worked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard to parlay fights because you never know. You know, with a lot of times the guy will win, 2.5 rounds, but he gets submitted right there, and you're pretty much right, but you can't.
Right.
It's hard to do the parlay game with fights.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is too is it was like years of just taking a beating, like just I had in my head, I was convinced that I was going to hit like a parlay, like at least enough to make it worth it, and I would make a whole bunch of them too. I remember writing, I would have a whole piece of paper filled with all my different combinations of parlays.
I remember
and how much they would pay out and stuff.
You'd have like 3 or 4 different.
And by the
parlays.
end of the night, it would be so unbelievable how you could get every single one wrong, pretty much, right? Or a majority of them wrong, but I don't know. I think every now and then a card comes along like the last one where you have a pretty good feel for like at least 4 out of 5 of the main card fights, right? Where it's so stacked against, or it's so sort of leaning towards, I guess, like one of the fighters, Like Cain Velasquez was the favorite, There was no question about that. It would have been a real, kind of like a real miracle if Bigfoot Silva won. how did you see it playing out?
It was actually quicker than I even thought,
Yeah.
He caught him with that right hand, and Silva went down, man. But, Cain Velasquez showing that he's the best heavyweight in the world. I think he's the fastest, quickest heavyweight in the world, too. And he's got real heavy hands,
Right.
I can't wait to see him fight Dos Santos again. That should be awesome, because Dos
be a good
Santos
fight.
looked awesome against Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
Real good. I think that's probably the best he's ever looked. I mean, maybe when he knocked out Cain, but that was so quick, that was the biggest win of his career, but I think the best he's ever looked almost was against Mark Hunt. He looked good against Roy Nelson too, but he looked, was able to finish the job with the spinning wheel kick.
Yeah, what's up with this?
I don't know, man.
What's going on here?
It's like they just figured it out.
I feel like we're watching something. I feel like we're witnessing
a small evolution in MMA.
Some kind of little mini cycle or something. Someone's turned a page somewhere.
It does seem that the striking has kind of evolved within the past couple of years, especially within the kicks. Like if you watch Josh Thompson's kick against Nate Diaz, a couple of guys have landed that where they fake the shot real quick and then kick high. And then the spinning wheel kick, and then the spinning heel kick, and all that. It's really become prevalent over this past at least a year and a half or whatever. I think it really kind of started with Anderson Silva's front kick to Vitor Belfort, which is even more impressive if you think about it. Mm-hmm. He took Vitor Belfort's hard to he doesn't go down easy.
We've seen what he's just done now twice in a row to Michael Bisping,
2 kicks in a row,
right? And Luke Rockhold. Both
when you think
head
of
kicks.
When you think of Vitor Belfort, you don't think of head kick knockouts.
Right, and he's doing that in the early second round with both those guys.
And the people he's doing it
and
against
first round
are top-notch competition. You're talking about Michael Bisping. I think he's lost just
3 or 4
two
fights.
times or 3 times
maybe
in the UFC in his whole
yeah.
career. And then, Luke Rockhold was the former champion, so...
Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable.
Impressive.
I'm trying to think, like, the only people, like, before, like you mentioned, I think that's a good timeline point, you know, for that Anderson Silva front kick. Because right after that, Randy Couture ate a front kick, a flying kind of front kick from...
The Karate Kid crane kick. Full crane
from,
kick.
From Machida, knocked his tooth out. That was like a month later, you know. Yep. And there was the Edson Barbosa spinning kick that was like knockout of the year or something last year. But that was like just the one... That was like the only one that year.
I mean, and then
like,
you got...
It was kind of amazing.
Uriah Hall
there's been more.
Tough. And then,
Uriah Hall on Tough, yep. What's going on? I don't know, something weird. Is this... How do we handle this? How do we stay ahead of the curve? I mean...
Well, I think the backflip kick is next. That's going to be the next one.
Yeah.
The, cartwheel kick, something like that.
It's going to evolve into like a Street Fighter game.
Yeah, Hadoukens are going to come.
The first person to throw a fireball will change the sport. Change the sport forever.
How about TJ Grant, though?
Yeah, TJ Grant.
How about TJ Grant? How good did he look?
That was fast, too, speaking of fast fights.
And if you watch, Gray catches him a few times with a couple solid right hands, man. Hits him real hard, and Grant just stays in there. He's got a tough chin.
I can
That's
tell
going to be a great fight with Benson Henderson.
That's going to be,
big lightweights.
Yep, that'll be a really good fight. I remember that I convinced you to go with TJ Grant after our discussion.
Yes.
Right?
I was like leaning on man, the thing is I really like Gray Maynard. He's just you can't look at his record. He's a winner.
Yeah.
Like he wins fights in the UFC.
Right.
But the more I thought about it and the more you analyze it, TJ Grant's just he's got too many tools, man.
I can tell you
surging. That was the
surging.
thing.
Yeah, for sure. He's like there were two things that I keyed in on that why I felt so good about it as an underdog pick. Was that Maynard had lost a couple in a row, right? And Grant was under the radar, right? He was one of these guys no one really talks that much about. And he was dropping a weight class, and he had that majority decision over Johnny Hendricks, right? And those were two things for me that were pretty serious factors in that decision to pick Grant.
I completely forgot about that. He did decision Johnny Hendricks, didn't he?
He had a majority decision loss to Johnny Hendricks, which means who's about to fight GSP.
He fought the decision with Johnny Hendricks.
So
that's pretty crazy.
TJ Grant, and I read an interview with him too before the fight. He's like, I don't really feel like the need to talk up thing. He had like he sort of like had a humble approach. He's not trying to draw like a ton of attention to himself, and it was just those couple of factors kind of combined together, and I was just like, you know what? I feel really good about this pick for this value, and when you put that next to Maynard's recent fights and everything, it just seemed to kind of make sense. It just the pieces sort of fell into place for an upset for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I was just like, I was really comfortable with the Grant pick. Which was there's always I feel like there's always one underdog winner on each main card. I feel like there's at least one.
Yeah, no, that's always
it's pretty rare to have all the favorites win.
Yeah, that's one of my little devices I like to go by, or whatever you want to call it. There's usually one upset, and one of my things about Brazil is there's usually one upset in Brazil. One Brazilian gets upset in Brazil usually.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder, is that a transition point? Have we reached? Do we want to say anything else about UFC 161? Because
I just rewatched Ben Henderson and Gilbert Melendez. That was a hell of a fight, man.
Yeah.
So TJ Grant and
Ben was a slow burner.
Ben Henderson, man, you got to every fight it's a fight. At least like they fought like they were scrapping hard. Yeah. It wasn't super technical. It was more of like just a straight scrap. And I think it's going to be cool because Grant kind of has the same style as Ben Henderson, where he's just like too tough, like he's so in your face.
He's got that sick beard.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which we both have beards right now.
We are rocking the beards.
We look pretty good.
TJ Grant, you're my beard hero.
Yeah, he's the best bearded fighter going.
I mean, Roy Nelson is the king of the beard. I think
the handful of bearded fighters.
I think Roy Nelson is the king of the beard.
Yeah, he has a great beard. I wish he would leave it long. I wish we, like when he goes to the press conference or the weigh-ins the day before, and it's huge. Like it's like an orc beard.
It's like a goat.
He's like a warlock carrying.
It's like a goat's butt hair or something.
I wish he would leave it long for the fight, though. He always cuts it. He trims
Does
it.
he?
Yeah, I think he does.
What's the matter with that guy?
I don't know. Hang on, I wanna before we move on to the UFC on Fuel TV 10 card, I wanna just a couple more things from UFC 161. I understand our best bet was what's his name? Max Holloway.
Dennis Bermudez.
Versus no, I think it was Dennis Bermudez?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Or was that the fight before?
Dennis Bermudez and Max Holloway.
Is that who fought?
Yep.
Okay. And that was wow. And, we got a kind of what most people would probably call a lucky victory.
I thought Max Holloway won for sure. Like nothing against the pick or anything like that. I just thought watching the fight that Max Holloway won.
Yeah.
And that Dennis Bermudez won the third round, but he definitely did not win the first two rounds. It was pretty plain to see. I mean, it wasn't really that really.
People were pretty pissed on Twitter.
Yeah, it wasn't really super close, and it sucks because, Max Holloway's the youngest fighter in the UFC. He could have used that win big time. That would have been a big win for him, and he won the fight.
I have to say I was impressed by Max Holloway. I didn't realize
he caught him with a good kick in the first round.
He was mixing it up. I was impressed by his striking. I didn't remember him as much of a striker. I didn't really remember that much about him. I knew he was solid. I knew he was a stand-up fighter, but I didn't know that he was that creative. And he's another one of those guys who might have. He seems maybe like he's a part of the evolution we were talking about. The way he was spinning kicks and that kind of thing, and it was really working.
Yeah, you know what I think about fighters is you can see it when you watch them. Like they've said it before, it's a big deal to fight in the UFC, and it takes them a couple fights to actually get comfortable and to get comfortable with the fact that they're going in front of all these people and to get comfortable with the fact that. How much pressure is on you to win and get comfortable with the fact of all the lights and the day that all the press and everything that goes with it, So I feel like Max Holloway, you can see it in his fighting. He's getting comfortable because he's already had 3 fights in the UFC, I think. So 3 or 4.
Yeah. He's
only 20 or something like that, or
he's
21.
Young, he's young.
Guys like him, you could see it in their fights. He's starting to get comfortable in there, and he's going to be.
He's going to be a dangerous guy.
Yeah, he's going to be a hard fight for anybody at least.
Coming back now after a loss like that, he's going to something...
I mean, to me, that's a victory.
It's going to be an opportunity for him to take a step forward for himself. But
I used to live in Waianae, where he's from in Hawaii.
That's right.
And he's from Waianae in Hawaii is on the west side of Oahu. And it's straight poverty. It's just like really poor. A lot of the local people are poor. It's really... crystal meth is really bad out there and stuff.
Oh, man.
I was just out there surfing and hanging out, but so to be from that little tiny place, Waianae, Hawaii, man, that's pretty cool, because there's not a ton of people over there, and it's all local people, and it's not like, it's not Las Vegas where
like
they have
Stockton,
18
California
fight camps. It's
Hawaii.
not, it is. It's just the ghetto over there pretty much, so it's nice. It's beautiful, though.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because when you see a dude fighting out of Hawaii, you might think of, like, the dude, like meditating on the beach and surfing, and it's part of his preparation, and it's probably good to know that...
It's probably the opposite, man. The
exactly.
Guys over there are badasses.
Because that's a factor, like that's a person's, the whole nature-nurture thing, it's like a whole psychological debate or whatever, but like
it's rough
nature-nurture, that's a factor. Like you have to take into account where a dude's coming from, and like what his growing up was like and all that, that's where the intangibles develop from, I think.
Yeah. Your mindset.
Yeah, so we may have gotten lucky on that one, but we're looking forward to Max Holloway going forward. And Dennis Bermudez too could learn something from that fight. He should know he got lucky.
A lot of good fighters come from poverty. If you look, it's a motivating factor.
Right, it's part of like boxing history too. A lot of dudes Rocky,
a lot of fighters.
Like look at the movie Rocky. Basically, right?
I got no money.
Yeah, I need to fight for the title. So we did really well with UFC 161. Got kind of lucky with that pick. One could say
we actually do well on,
but we're not going to regret
our cards. Yeah,
we do well. I hope people are listening.
If you do listen, tell your friends at least. Come
Spread
on,
the
listen
word.
A little bit. We've got a great record. Listen to the past podcasts, and we don't get.
Go ahead.
Hardly anything wrong.
Yeah, no, we're really...
I don't want to sit here and, toot my own horn too much, but the facts are the facts. I mean, we don't pick bad fights
and just
a
toot our
lot.
own horn. Yeah, we're killing it.
Honk, honk.
Our best bet, I think, is 8-1.
I mean, come on.
I mean, if you're betting our best bet every time, yeah, whatever. You get lucky, maybe. You could say you get lucky, but, you know, it was actually a weird thing. Going to that decision, to throw this back for a minute. The Max Holloway, Dennis Bermudez fight. Going into that decision, I knew, like, in my head that Holloway won 2-1. But in my I've seen these fights before mind, like the other half of my mind, I was like, Dennis Bermudez is going to get this decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You could just feel it, huh?
Something like that. I felt the same way about the Mike Pyle fight.
Sometimes I think the judges are
against Rick Story. You know, I was like, I think Mike Pyle's going to win this fight, even though if I'm scoring it 10-9, 10-9 straight up like that.
That was a close fight, though, man. That was a great real fight. Close. That was.
But it's like these fights come on, you just go, oh shit, you know, the people are gonna be, you know, you just go, oh man, people are gonna be pissed about this one because this is gonna be, this is not gonna go the way people think it is, and it's just like a thing from watching so many fights. You know what I mean? When you watch prelim cards and like everything that they throw out, that shit sinks into your brain and you just kind of like see it coming sometimes. And I'm not saying that that's why we picked that because we knew it was going to be that close or anything like that, but there was just that, maybe it's the style matchups, you know, and that kind of thing, and you start looking at it, and that's why that's where these best bets come from.
I honestly think that
just the sense that that person has a better stylistic chance and that often works out.
Yeah. I honestly think that the judges aren't. They're behind. I feel like the judges are behind, and the evolution of MMA happens so fast that.
Yeah. No, totally.
I don't think they can see as good cage side like that. Maybe they do have a little screen in front of them, but man, my big TV, I can see that pretty good.
Totally, and we have the camera angles.
So it's easy to sit here on the couch and say, well, we saw every single punch. So to be there in person, maybe the punches were landing harder.
I think that's an issue, really. I feel like the judges should be in a small room, like in the box seats, like watching on TV. Like, wouldn't that make more sense almost? Why do they have to be around the ring?
I don't know. I guess you get.
Can we question that whole structure? Like, why do they have to be next to the fight?
I think
like that. Shouldn't they be further away and be more objective?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
With no commentary, just watching the two dudes fight, no commentary.
Well, I don't think,
a soundproof room somewhere.
They're not getting swayed by the crowd or anything.
Just a tall glass of water and headphones, like just in little screens. I don't know. That seems like it would make more sense. But
like a little science experiment or something.
yeah. So it's a weird thing, it's a weird thing. But you're right, though. I went to one UFC event. I wish I've gone to more, but we had pretty good seats and we were on the floor, and you couldn't see anything from there.
No.
You couldn't see anything.
No.
There's dudes carrying cameras around the edge of the thing the whole time. There's people standing up in front of you, walking by, and you're below the cage. So you're literally, you can only see like shoulders up most of the time on these fighters. And I was actually kind of disappointed by the end. I was like, wow, it was really hard to watch that from that angle.
It's actually better in the bleachers than it is the floor.
Yeah.
It's better to sit back in the bleachers or in the
first level bleachers,
elevated seats.
50-yard line seats. Pretty amazing, actually.
I've been to a few MMA things, and I've always, smaller local shows, and I've always tried to sit in the bleachers or in the stands, like
that downward angle. You need a little.
It's
bit
way
of
better, right at like the top
angle.
right at the top of the cage, so you can see into it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways. What's up with Fabricio Werdum?
Yeah, UFC on Fuel TV 10.
There you go.
Fabricio Werdum, Minotauro Nogueira.
Rematch. 7 years in the making.
Oh, shit.
Pride fight.
I love that you mix that in, because I always forget about that kind of stuff. We'll go through it. We're only going to look at the top 3 fights, and then we're going to make predictions on the tough Brazil finale, which this card is part of. Fabricio Werdum's the favorite, 3-1 pretty much. Minotauro's the underdog. I see Fabricio Werdum winning this by, I'm thinking a knockout. I think Minotauro's old. He walks around like he has arthritis in every joint of his body. You know what I mean? And I just can't. How can you pick that guy?
Yeah.
That's my mind is just telling me, like, how can we even bother picking Minotauro Nogueira in this? I mean, Werdum is top 5 heavyweight. He's in the mix. He's won. It's been a long time since he's fought. There could be a ring rust factor, but I think it's almost like Minotauro always has a ring rust factor. I feel like every time he fights, it's like an event. He's like the Tin Man.
Yeah.
That's how he moves, like the Tin Man.
Well, Minotauro's been
Without
through a
oil.
lot of wars, man. I think you got to give him some kind of chance on this fight, though, just because Fabricio Werdum doesn't have the best stand-up. Even though we've seen his stand-up improve a lot. You know, he's been working with his coach in L.A., and he fought Roy Nelson, and that was good. He saw his stand-up and his knees and stuff get way better. I just think Fabricio Werdum's younger. Minotauro beat him the first time, so he's looking for that.
Yeah.
He's looking for that revenge.
I think he's got a lot of good factors.
He's younger. He's on a roll.
Yeah.
I think his striking's improved a lot.
That's the big thing, I think.
I don't think Minotauro can submit Werdum. I don't think Werdum can submit Minotauro. I mean, maybe if it goes one way, I think Werdum could probably submit Minotauro. Not because he's better at jiu-jitsu, just because he's a younger, more in shape fighter.
Yeah,
you got to guess.
Totally.
You know, at least you have to guess that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I think if you're looking at these odds, it's minus 325. This was like a Bovada check a minute ago. Minus 325 for Werdum, 3-1 favorite. I like those odds, actually. I think he's a pretty... I don't know. I mean, it's been a little while. I think he's a pretty safe pick, though. Minotauro is on the downside of his career completely, right? That's not even like... To me, that's not really a debatable point. I don't know. Just every time I look at him, like I said, he's like the Tin Man. He's stiff.
Don't count him out, though, man. He's fighting in Brazil. He's a Brazilian fighting in Brazil.
But isn't Werdum a Brazilian?
If you remember, yep.
Fighting
if you remember, though,
so there's a lot of
Minotauro was supposed to probably get run over by Brendan Schaub, and he knocked Brendan Schaub the fuck out.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's still got a chance.
He could catch him. I
He's
give
still
him
Minotauro.
like a Mark Hunt against Dos Santos chance. Like I feel like it's kind of the same.
It's gonna
Which makes me think that these are good odds. I think
This
Werdum could be even minus 400.
This might be a boring fight with Fabricio Werdum just coming out, on top.
Yeah.
Not the best fight. I don't really see it being great, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a big fight for the heavyweight division. I think the names carry some like sort of meaning for a lot of people. I think Werdum. I think the odds on Werdum are going to rise during the week, right before Saturday night. I think he'll end up at like minus 400. So if you're down with that, you should probably get on Werdum now. But like you said, Minotauro's got a chance. I mean, I personally just think he's sort of turned a corner in his career or something, and he's on his way out, maybe.
Well, yeah. Once I mean, so many wars take their toll. It's hard.
Yeah,
to be in that many,
nothing. I'm not taking anything away from him.
It's hard to be in that many wars and not. And plus, I mean, all the injuries he's had and stuff. He's coming off of that. He's coming off of submitting Dave Herman with an armbar, which is cool. But I don't think he's got enough for Fabricio Werdum right now. Verdum's on a roll. 5 of the last 6 fights he's won. So Werdum decision.
Werdum. Yeah, I'm going Werdum TKO round 2.
Nice.
I think I have confidence in Werdum. Like you mentioned, to stand up. I have confidence that he's gonna. That'll be the difference. I think he'll be quicker and
clinch knees.
I think he'll be quicker, and I think he'll literally beat Minotauro.
I think he should beat him up in the clinch if he's gonna try to do anything.
Next fight down, co-main event: Thiago Silva versus
Rafael Cavalcante.
Who is favorited. I don't know why I said it in like an Asian way.
Oh, Cavalcante.
Cavalcante is the favorite, minus 210. So a slight favorite. This is the closest. As of right now, this is the closest fight on the main card according to the odds. So Cavalcante minus 210, Thiago Silva plus 170. How do you see this one going? First of all, how is Cavalcante as a fighter? Because this is his UFC debut, I believe, right?
Yeah, but he was the former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion. Okay. Which he lost to Dan Henderson. But Cavalcante is a dangerous striker, dude. He's badass. He's him and Thiago Silva. That's just gonna be a great fight. What's pretty cool about both of them? They're both kind of like coming off of some like suspensions and stuff. Like if you remember Thiago Silva, his last bout with Stanislav Nevklov got overturned for testing positive for marijuana metabolites.
These guys are gonna be raging.
Then Brandon Vera, Thiago Silva beat Brandon Vera, but it was overturned because he submitted the stuff that wasn't even urine or something for the urine test.
Some yellow substance.
And then Cavalcante beat Mike Kyle in 33 seconds in Strikeforce. But then he was fined and suspended a year for testing for marijuana again.
We got to get over that. I think
that's so ridiculous.
As a whole society,
so
we just need to move on.
Well, you know what? The thing is, what I see is
this could be insane.
I think Thiago Silva's conditioning is going to be better. They're going to kind of go to war for a couple rounds, and eventually Cavalcante has worn down a lot in the past. But I think Thiago Silva would take him TKO late. If he survives Cavalcante early, Thiago Silva should win. Yeah, that's my underdog pick. Yeah.
So you're thinking he'll maybe like blitz. Cavalcante might blitz Silva a little bit.
He always starts really strong, man, and when he comes out, you're like, oh, this guy's a beast, but then he fades real quick.
Yeah, and we've seen those guys. There's guys like that, yeah. You know, there's, where you gotta like, I don't know, this is something I think about from time to time. You gotta pay attention to, like, a fighter type, you know? That's a fighter type. The dude who comes out crazy, like Vanderlei Silva is a little bit like that. See, comes out like a maniac for a round and a half, and then you see them immediately just sort of fall off steeply, right, energy-wise. Mark Coleman is like that.
Yeah.
Shogun Hua is a little bit like that, right? When these dudes get tired, you see it all over their face. I think Shane Carwin, or somebody, he retired, but there's a certain type of fighter that gasses out after like a round and a half. And if you're betting on this stuff, you got to look at their opponent and think, can that person handle a round and a half of insanity?
Yeah. Well,
win it later.
This is also what I'm thinking too. Thiago Silva has more of a ground and pound kind of style than Cavalcante. Cavalcante doesn't even really go for takedown stuff. He's like a Muay Thai Brazilian, molded fighter. And I think Silva has that too, but he's got takedowns and stuff. And I think eventually Silva's going to try to clinch with him and take him down and stuff. It's going to wear him out.
So more ways to win for Thiago Silva.
Yep.
In your mind.
Yep.
Nice. I like that. So that could possible underdog. I'll have to admit, I don't know a ton about Cavalcante, and I know Thiago Silva's had his issues, and who knows like where he's at. He could be like a Caro Parisian type character,
right.
Where you're not quite sure where Thiago Silva's at.
Yeah,
like he has these ups and downs, and you're not sure how to take it sometimes.
He's 5-3 in the UFC.
That would be my only worry, I guess.
He's 5-3 in the UFC, so more times than not he comes out on top. But
yeah,
Thiago Silva, ground and pound late or unanimous decision.
Yeah,
That's my pick.
I think I don't know, just because I'm just looking at the odds. I'm gonna go Cavalcante.
Nice
decision. I don't know, but don't listen to me because I have no reasons to back it up. So you should mostly ignore my opinion on that particular fight. Here's next one down. This will be the last one, other than our picks for the finale. Jason, the Kansas City Bandit.
Is that his nickname?
That's his nickname. It's like a full sentence nickname. Versus Eric Indio Silva. Silva is the huge favorite. He's minus 400. Jason High plus 300. So this is the most lopsided fight on the card as of kind of right now. So,
well, Silva's coming off the loss to John Fitch. That's his last fight, which was a great fight. And there's nothing.
Yeah, he got kind of smothered by John Fitch.
Yeah, and there's nothing to be like.
He got fitched.
Yeah, he got fitched up.
I'm glad we're done with that. Actually, I respect John Fitch, but I'm done watching him
fight. Yeah, you don't really have much of a.
It's not. I don't know. He's just ruining it for everybody.
Even though he lost,
he just ruins things for everyone else. That's basically what he does.
He
takes pride and glory in it.
Right.
Some people like that, but I'd like to see more exciting things going on.
Exciting fighters.
Yeah, it's almost like
he wins fights, man.
He does win. It's nothing against him. Just
Eric Silva's still. What I was going to try to say is Eric Silva's still one of the best prospects at 170 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's fighting Jason High, who's a tough dude. Last time Jason High fought in the UFC, he fought Charlie Brenneman. Remember Charlie Brenneman?
Yeah, I do.
And he lost, but Charlie Brenneman out-wrestled him. He's, the way Jason High fights, he's kind of like a wrestler, ground and pound. That's his main thing. I don't see Jason High being John Fitch and John Fitching Eric Silva.
Yeah.
Jason High is going to get caught eventually by Eric Silva. His striking's too prolific and too much for Jason High, I think. Jason High's been knocked out by head kicks and stuff before. He got knocked out by, he was the former champion. His name is, he fought Nick Diaz.
Carlos Condit?
No. Marius Zamarkis.
Oh, I didn't. That's Marius, where you're going with that?
Yeah.
Marius Zaromskis?
Zaromskis, yep. Miroslav
That's a great name.
knocked him out with
That's
a head kick.
That's a fantastic name.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Knocked him out with a head kick. I see something maybe
Does he
similar.
live in a castle, do you think?
He should.
He has foot soldiers guarding his door at night.
If he doesn't, he needs to.
Yeah, he needs to get on that.
We need to send him an email.
Yeah, we will. Our email team will be on that.
He's on my Instagram. I'll hit him up.
We have an email team.
We'll put that on our crack tech team.
Yeah, tech team. Tech team will take care of that.
Tech team attack.
I like Eric Silva in this one. The Brazilians in Brazil have an incredible record. Eric Silva has fought, I think, tougher guys than Jason High. And he's a pretty big favorite, and I think it's a rightful favorite. I almost think he could be minus 500 or minus 600. I think Silva will avoid being taken down. I think he'll learn his lessons from the John Fitch loss, and John Fitch, a better grappler probably than Jason High, right? So I think he's a rightful favorite. I think he'll take a possibly a pretty fast, I don't know, second round TKO. I think he'll keep it standing and knock him out.
I think Jason High will probably be able to take him down once or twice, but after that it'll be pretty much over. Yeah, it'll be Eric Silva. I'm thinking,
like you said, he'll take him down once or twice. It'll get into the second round. Silva will figure it out, beat him up. That's what I'm thinking. I think that's a rightful odds there. All right, so that's all we got for the main card of UFC on Fuel TV 10 from Brazil this weekend. There's a tough finale. This is the end of a tough finale. Yep. We should make note. It's the only two guys from the tough series in Brazil who are fighting on this fight card.
That's crazy.
Which is a weird thing because when we did the Uriah Faber Jorgensen fight a couple weeks ago, the whole rest of the card was filled out by the guys from the show. You know, I kind of like it better this way. I feel like all those guys shouldn't necessarily get a chance
right
to be
away
on the UFC card because you lost the show, so it kind of takes away from the motivation on the show. I think if you're going to give everybody a chance,
I agree with you. What's the motivation to win if you're going to get in a fight in the UFC?
If you know you're going to get a fight anyway, you can lose and whatever, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, not that you want to lose, but there's less pressure, you know. So we have
Leonardo Santos, William Macario.
Yeah. I hope everybody got that.
Look,
I haven't watched one episode.
This is what I know. I haven't watched any, but I know who Leonardo Santos is. He's a awesome Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion and stuff. He submitted George St. Pierre with a flying armbar at the Abu Dhabi World Championships. What? Yeah.
Wait, hang on a second.
Yeah.
That's I feel like we need to talk about that.
That's probably what.
How long ago was that?
2005.
Was that before? That was before GSP's.
No, I think he was the champ and stuff. But he was. I mean,
what?
Yeah, in grappling.
Hang on. I'm cleaning my glasses with my tie right now while I process.
It's really not that big a deal.
A flying armbar of GSP?
Yeah.
How come no one's tried that yet?
Well, see, the thing is,
I want to see Johnny Hendricks.
The thing is, George St. Pierre is a high-level MMA guy, but he's not a high-level grappler. He's not a world champion grappler. These world champion grappler guys, man, they're on a different level.
Specifically in a certain thing.
He's on a different level in his MMA game than
That's insane. That's
Leonardo Santos. Yeah, the thing about Leonardo Santos is too, he's like 155-pound kind of guy. That's what he fights at. I don't know what this fight is at. I forget, to be honest with you.
If I was Leonardo Santos, I would just once I retired, I would just tell people that story all the time. I'd be like, "Yeah, I once flying armbarred George St. Pierre."
I think he's probably.
You can Google it.
I think he's probably more proud of his multiple world championships in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Nah, who cares?
Yeah, he might be more proud of that.
Those aren't a big deal. Flying armbarring George St. Pierre is worth multiple.
Macario's pretty badass. He's a striker. He's gonna cook to come out and finish Santos real quick, but I don't think Santos is a veteran. He trains at Novo and Yao and stuff. And
I heard Santos is a little bit older, and Macario's what, like 21 or 22 or something. He's a young dude.
I think it's going to be all about experience, and Santos is going to wear Macario down and submit him, second or third round.
Yeah, I think I'll take the experience factor and go with Santos too. I mean, I have very little idea what I'm talking about, so you should not do not send me angry emails. I get no emails from anyone, by the way. So
direct your emails to Kelly Miller.
I can say this. Yes, if you have angry emails, send them to Kelly Miller. He'll handle that. That's
at Kelly Miller.
At Kelly Miller. At kellymiller.com. That's made up. But so that's the main card pretty much for UFC on Fuel TV.
I don't want to talk shit, but I'm not like super stoked on this card. I'm not, you know, I'll record it and watch it, but it's like
It's not gonna. Well, you see, I really feel like
Werdum and Minotauro has no bearing on
not
the
exciting.
Heavyweight division, anyways.
I mean, what have they been doing?
You beat Minotauro, okay? Well, so did Frank Mirren. He
Right,
broke his arm, and look at him. He's
borderline
fighting Josh Barnett, like and Josh Barnett's first. Nothing against, but that doesn't have any bearing either.
No, you're right. You're totally right. And it's a weird card. I mean, there's nothing super exciting. You're probably, if you're listening to this at all, even really, if you're still listening right now, you're probably a pretty hardcore UFC fan. You are. And or a friend of ours.
Exactly.
Who wants to give us YouTube views. But,
thank you, Stevie. No.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, friends and family members who might be listening to this.
Thank you.
We appreciate you sticking around into the 35th minute of this. Yeah, I don't know.
What else?
I'm all right. It'll be a Saturday night. I have an infant, so I'm not going anywhere and doing anything. And I'll be watching the prelims and all that stuff, but... You know, if I was a real, kind of a more normal person with less going on, I'd probably be out and about.
I don't think I'm going to stick at home for this one.
So, be careful out there with this one. Don't go nuts unless you really know what you're doing.
Just bet Thiago Silva. He's going to beat Vacante.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Boom.
See, bringing it back.
Boom.
The connoisseur. You have to respect.
Just blew your mind.
You got to respect the connoisseur.
Just bet. Just listen to me, people.
just
Jesus
listen
Christ.
a little bit.
All right. What about
Anything
BJ
else?
Penn is supposed to want to fight at lightweight again.
This is the news and notes section of the
news and notes. BJ Penn's supposed to want to fight at lightweight again. What? Rampage went to Bellator.
Why?
He wants to fight, man. He's a fighter. You know what that is.
BJ, yeah, I guess you can't quit, right? Huh? Rampage. Did you hear? I mean, he's doing TNA and a reality series.
That's stupid. He's a freaking actor.
I think Rampage is. I'm off the Rampage. I don't know. Yeah. I used to be on. I liked it. I liked the weird things he said. And I'm off now.
That's past.
He's gonna turn into like Tim Sylvia.
You're right. Chael Sonnen's
he's gonna be fighting and you don't even know what
he's gonna be fighting in Japan in some brand.
He's losing to some guy
to women or something in a wrestling ring.
It's weird stuff.
Chael Sonnen's fighting Shogun, I guess. On
UFC.
In Boston, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be
that's an awesome card. That's an awesome.
That podcast will be 16 hours long. We're gonna take a nap. There'll be a nap section of that podcast where we all take naps. Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy card.
We already mentioned the pot thing. They've raised the metabolites.
Oh, okay, good. I saw a headline on that.
They've raised it up so it's not so low because right now it's like
man.
If there's any bit of trace in your system,
right.
Who could possibly think that's a performance-enhancing drug?
Yeah, really.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
It's like saying they should test them for alcohol.
Yeah, why not?
If you have any alcohol in your system...
How about caffeine? That gives you extra energy to defeat opponents.
You can't have caffeine!
Bro,
that's
you're
illegal.
all caffeined up, bro.
Dude.
You overwhelm that guy.
Your caffeine metabolites.
You overwhelm that guy with your caffeine intake.
You must
clearly...
No coffee.
And the testosterone. There's a few little...
Oh, yeah. You can take TRT.
Oh, yeah, no big deal.
But you can't smoke a joint.
No, totally different things.
Horrible.
One's way worse than the other, apparently. So hopefully that gets straightened out soon. I think there's small baby steps being made. But, it sucks that certain guys have to take it sucks
Matt Riddle.
It just sucks that certain guys got to, eat the bullet on this for everybody else in, 10 years from now, Why can't we just... I mean, everybody knows how stupid this is. So, anyway, anything else there? Anything else going down? We'll be back next week with a total breakdown of UFC 161, which is a weird card. I feel like the card is wearing a cast a little bit. There's a lot of fights been replaced and things like that. So, but there's still Dan Henderson, Rashad Evans. I'm kind of looking forward to that. That'll be a slow boiler.
Nice.
Every punch thrown will slow time. A little bit.
Dan Henderson's going to rock Rashad Evans.
Oh, all right. Well, you're going to defend that in more detail next week.
I will.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up.
I shall. All
right. That's the end of DeepWaterMMA.com podcast.
It is.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.